Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Wednesday night satsang. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for life, for all of life. I wasn't always like this, but I'm very grateful for life because I pay attention. I pay attention to what's happening in the moment. And one of the many things that I'm grateful for, among everything else in life, is that have some time for doing calligraphy again, which I've been sort of putting off because I've been busy with other things. And I love doing Japanese calligraphy, Zen calligraphy, as many of you know from my art practice in my art gallery. And it's a wonderful spiritual practice, calligraphy. It's an art practice, but it's also a spiritual practice that has a long tradition in just as much as meditation is. Calligraphy is really a form of meditation, a different kind of form than sitting meditation, but it's definitely a very powerful and profound form of meditation. And the the phrase that I've been working with, because in calligraphy you work with it. It's not just copying out, you know, Japanese symbols, kanji. It's not just copying out that. That's what you do when you're beginning to learn. But as you go deeper into it, you express something very deep through these words that you create through calligraphy. And this one is called One Meeting, or One Lifetime, One Meeting. One lifetime, one meeting. And this is very appropriate for Thanksgiving and gratitude. One lifetime, one meeting. It means to pay attention to this moment, because in your whole lifetime, this one meeting is the only meeting in your entire lifetime. Here, where we are, this satsang is the one satsang in your entire lifetime. In fact, every moment of this satsang is the one moment of your entire lifetime. And this goes for everything in your life. Every person you meet, that one meeting is extremely precious. This is your life itself. And every moment of that meeting is extremely precious. It's your lifetime. It's your life in that one meeting. And most often we're not aware of this. We sort of, because we live in a superficial world of dreams, of symbols, we live in a symbolic world, seeing the world through our thoughts, not the way the world is. So naturally we're not grateful for everything, as I am. If we see the world through symbols, we become very, oh, that again. Oh, I know what that is. I know what this is. I know what this person is going to be like. You know, we go to see our family on Thanksgiving, if we do that, or with friends, and we feel that we know what they're like. You know, if we don't get along with them, then we feel, oh yeah, that's the person I don't get along with, and I just hope they don't act in the way that they act the last time, so I'll be upset if they do. And we're putting them in a box. We're not really seeing who they are and what they are, because in fact they're nothing like what we think they are. Absolutely nothing like what we think they are. Nothing in life is anything like what we think it is. So if we go to a family meeting with any expectation at all, it's just a dream. It's just a dream. It's just our imagination. All expectations are our imagination, are projecting our thoughts onto the future. This is not a healthy way to live in this world, and yet almost all humans live in exactly this way, as certainly I did. Everyone does. So we take the world for granted. We take our family for granted. We take our friends for granted. We take everything for granted. And so, of course, we're not grateful for everything. If we can see life as it is, we're extraordinarily grateful, beyond anything that can be even imagined, what it is to simply be in this moment. One lifetime, one meeting. To be in this moment. To be fully present in this moment. There is no greater gift that you can receive, and no greater gift that you can give than simply being present, being fully present in this moment. This not only awakens you to life in your true nature, in the true nature of everything that exists, but it's extremely beneficial to everybody that you're with, because your presence somehow opens them up to presence too. Not by anything you say or do, just your presence itself. Your very being, your very true nature, because when you're fully present, you are your true nature. Your true nature is right here. And you're not hiding it behind all your expectations and thoughts and ideas about life and who you are. It's right up, face forward, present. And you are present. And you cannot help but be grateful when you're present. It doesn't matter what the situation is. It has nothing to do with it. That's just your thoughts. You have no idea what the situation is. Even when you're right in the middle of the situation, you don't know what it is. Those are just thoughts, opinions. They're just ways that you hide from truth. You don't know you're doing this. Of course, you wouldn't do it if you knew it. But when you have an expectation, when you have a judgment, when you have a thought about anything or anyone, you're hiding from truth. You're hiding from reality. Isn't this what you're doing, really? You're hiding from reality. You're hiding from yourself. You're hiding from the world. Because this is what the dream has taught you to do. As soon as you learned your first word as an infant, mama, bottle, dada, whatever it was, you began to separate yourself from life. You began to turn life into a concept, into a symbol. And with the more words you learned, the more conditioning you had, the more you were separated from life. I mean, notice if you're ever around young children, 2-3-year-old children, the life in them. Isn't this what we love? How alive they are, how enthusiastic they are, how they're paying attention. Isn't this why we love our pets? If we have a dog or a cat, have you ever noticed how much your dog or cat pays attention? How completely present they are? They're paying full attention to life. Absolute full attention. They're completely present. And you could be too. But your thoughts are in the way. Because you think you understand what life is, you don't have to pay attention to it. Why? You already know what it is. You already know this person's a jerk or a lovely person or someone that, that you care deeply about or someone that you don't like. These are just thoughts. You already know this. So why pay attention to them? Why pay complete attention to them like your dog or cat does, or a young child, without any expectations, without any knowledge of who they are, what the situation is? To pay attention is called being present to what is. Leave your thoughts alone and experience this moment. So if you're going to see family tomorrow on Thanksgiving, you could try this. You could try just being fully present. If there's a number of people together, and they're people that sometimes you had difficult feelings or thoughts about, you can for a moment let that go and not imagine, oh, not this again. Oh, I know what they're going to say. Oh, that's just who they are. You can for a moment realize that you have no idea who they are. And in that not knowing, you can be fully present to really experience what they are. Maybe for the first time in your life. To really be aware of your family, your friends, whoever you're with. Complete strangers. To feel the energy of life. The energy of the people you're with. There's a lot of superficial energy that's thought energy, their opinions, their things, whatever they're saying. Yeah, that's going on too. But if you're present, you can see far beyond that. You can hear far beyond their words to the life force that's there, the pure essence. And you will find that this essence is the same in everyone, in everything. If you're really present and you really pay attention, you cannot help but experience this. And this also means that you're awake. Because your true nature and the true nature of all those beings sitting around the table is the same true nature. It doesn't matter what they think or say. This is the confusion of the mind. You're well aware that the confusion of people's minds. You may not be so aware of the confusion of your own mind because you believe it. But everyone else can see. We're all living in a dream. A very superficial dream that separates us from life and from reality. And sometimes when people gather for Thanksgiving, they go around and each person expresses what they're grateful for. And sometimes you can feel this is really coming from their heart. And sometimes you can feel that this is just coming from their thoughts. They're grateful for something that they think about a situation or person, but it hasn't touched reality yet. It hasn't touched a deep gratitude of clearly seeing things as they are. So maybe this Thanksgiving you could try that. Try to be open. Try not to let your thoughts and opinions and knowledge get in the way of your direct experience of life. If you do that, you will find the true meaning of Thanksgiving, the true meaning of gratitude. And it's something you will never forget. You can touch the reality of life. One lifetime, one meeting. Each meeting is a new meeting. Each meeting is a very precious thing. And by meeting, it doesn't mean you're meeting another person or a group of people or a family or anything like that. You're meeting life. You're meeting life. When you sit down at a table with your family, you're meeting life. If you're sitting by yourself eating, you're meeting life. Every taste of food, you're meeting life. Every breath you take, you're meeting life. That's the one meeting. And that one meeting is entirely unique and new and will never come again. Each breath will never come again. Doesn't mean you stop breathing. Your mind may say that. No, but the quality of each breath, the entirety of each breath is completely new in each moment. Will never come again. Take a moment now and just pay attention to your breathing. Pay attention to your in-breath and out-breath. You do this to find out just how miraculous this is. Because your mind says it's just breathing. I know what that is. I've been doing it all my life. Have you really? Have you ever had a breath before? In your entire life, have you ever breathed? You can begin now to be aware of your breath. If you think you have nothing to be grateful for, pay attention to this breath until you can see, until you can feel just how miraculous this is. Everything is like this. The breath is simple, and it's something that we have available to us all the time. There's nothing special about the breath as opposed to everything else in life. It's just something that we can pay attention to so fully that we realize what it is. Breathing in, I'm alive. Breathing out, I know I'm alive. I realize I'm alive. I feel it. Breathing in, I'm alive. Breathing out, I experience life. It's as simple as that. One breath and you can wake up. One breath and you can touch life. One breath and you can realize that you're alive. One breath and you can realize the essence of your being and the being of all that exists. Breathing in, breathing out. Just this simple miracle. Most people are not aware of being alive. They're walking around in a dream. They're breathing and they're doing all these things, but they're not aware of being alive. They're not aware of life. If this Thanksgiving or this moment you become aware of life, then you'll truly have something to be grateful for. You see how this can put everything in perspective? Some people on the holidays feel lonely because they lost a loved one or they're alone. And they feel everybody's getting together with family and I'm all alone. And they feel sorry for themselves and regret certain things. Or they're with their family and they don't want to be because they have arguments and hard feelings with different members of their family. But if you know that you're alive, all that falls away, doesn't it? Who cares if you're having a fight with your parents or your brother or sister or an aunt or you're alive and they're alive. Recognize this miracle. It's not a small thing. To your mind, it's like, so what? I'm alive, but I don't have a job. I'm alive, but my husband or wife just died. I'm alive, but I have stage 4 cancer and I won't be alive much longer. You know, we think about these things, but yes, you have stage 4 cancer and maybe you're going to die in a month or 2 weeks or tomorrow. But right now, in this moment, you're alive. Why forget about that? It's so simple and obvious, but most people aren't aware of it. Literally not being aware of being alive. What it feels like to be alive. What the experience of being alive is. To just put our full attention on this. If we can pay attention to our breath, surely we can pay attention to being alive. The energy, the energy of life. Surely we can pay attention to this. So I'm extraordinarily grateful for everything because I'm paying attention. That's all. I'm paying attention. I didn't used to pay attention. I paid attention to my dream, my thoughts, my opinions about the world, my knowledge about the world. You know what? It's all bullshit. It really is. It's just a distraction from life. Donald Trump will or will not be impeached. The Republicans are doing this. The Democrats are doing that. Bullshit. Why be distracted from life by something so petty? Why is that more important than this moment? Why is that more important than this moment of life, of being alive? Because this is truth. All your thoughts and opinions and the thoughts and opinions of everyone else, all the thoughts and opinions of the experts, it's bullshit. It's just a distraction. It has no real meaning at all. It's just preventing you from being alive. That's all. Because you let it. Because you believe these things are important. You believe these things are more important than your in-breath and your out-breath. Don't you? Can you understand how absurd that is? Who the next president is? Yes, we vote and we are good citizens and we do all the things that we need to do there, but don't forget about being alive. Don't forget how important each breath is, how wonderful and miraculous each breath is. Even if you have emphysema and every breath results in a coughing fit, you still take a breath. You still have that breath. And you wouldn't be coughing if you weren't alive. So that's another sign that you're alive. Thich Nhat Hanh used to tell us that we know when we have a toothache and we don't like that, but we don't celebrate our non-toothache because most of the time we don't have a toothache. We have a non-toothache. And we're not saying, yay, this is wonderful, I don't have a toothache. Right? We just take it for granted that we don't have a toothache. It's like, oh yeah, that's just normal. And this is what we do with life. We take life for every breath. We're breathing all the time. And every breath we take for granted. We don't even think about it. We don't even put our attention on it. We're more concerned about whether we're going to get a job or what our relationship is like or how we're going to tolerate being at Thanksgiving dinner with our family if we don't like it. And the whole time we're not aware of our breath. We're not aware of being alive. Perhaps when you go to Thanksgiving, you might even suggest this when people go around and say what they're grateful for. Maybe you might say, this breath. I'm grateful for this breath. I'm grateful for being alive. And you might even help other people realize that they're alive. And they're breathing. And then this aliveness, this life, this breath is far more important than what the news is telling you about what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, whether it's snowing or not snowing, whether it's cold or hot. The news and experts will tell you that it's a heat wave and it's way too hot, but you can go out in that heat and just melt into it. Just experience the life of this, the feeling of this. Sweat, all of it. This is life. There can be a blizzard going on and snow, and it can be 20 below zero. And you can put on warm clothes and go out and feel that cold air. Feel the snow falling on you. Like a child, stick your tongue out and taste it. It's a miracle. Have you forgotten this? When you were 2 years old, you felt it. When you were 1 year old, you felt it. Why have you forgotten? You're still alive. Why do you not have the joy of a child? Where did that go? Is it really lost? You're just distracted by your thoughts. Your thoughts may tell you your life is miserable and you're suffering and you need this or that in order to be happy. Bullshit. It's not true. It's just your thoughts. They're confused. It's not your fault. You've been conditioned to believe this. We all have. But in one moment, you can come back to awareness of life, of being alive, of your breathing. And see what reality is again. Experience reality. If you have a hard time, maybe you should ask a 2-year-old or your dog or cat. There's a lot you can learn from people and beings that pay attention, that are aware of life. And you can be too. In this moment, always this moment. Have you noticed that this moment never ends? You're present in this moment, but this moment is eternal. It's not in time. Time is a concept, a symbol, a thought. In reality, there is no time. There is no space. Because your true being is everywhere. Everywhere. So what does space mean if you're already everywhere? What does time mean if there's only this present moment? We have a functioning society, not functioning very well, but as well as I suppose it can be, given that everyone's living in a dream. And we understand that in this conditioned human society, there is time, there's clocks, there's calendars, and there's all these things. But you know, if we're aware of life, we don't really need that, do we? We just walk out the door and we know it's autumn. We feel it. We know it's winter. We feel it. We know it. We don't need anybody to tell us. We're fully aware of life and aware of what's happening in life, and we feel it. Intuitively, we know all about it. We don't need our knowledge to show us this. One lifetime, one meeting. Every meeting is the first meeting and the only meeting you will ever have in your lifetime. Right here, right now. This is the only meeting you will ever have in your entire life. And the next meeting will also be the same. This meeting will no longer exist when you're in the next meeting. And that meeting will be the only meeting that exists, the only meeting in your lifetime. If you fully put your attention on that, you will be present to life. You will be alive. Thich Nhat Hanh loved this book by Sartre called The Stranger, where a man was put in prison with not a life sentence, a death sentence. So he was in prison waiting to be hung in France. And he woke up. He became fully present. So He was in a prison and he was going to be killed, but in that moment he was fully alive and fully happy. Why? It's a prison cell. There was a tiny window up high where a little bit of light was coming through and he could see the sky through it. That's all he needed, because he was alive. He was alive. It didn't matter that tomorrow he was going to be dead. He was alive now. And he realized when people came into him, like the priest, to give him the last rites and that, and asked him if he could help him, he realized that the priest was dead. He said he was living as a dead person. He couldn't see life. He was caught in his beliefs and his knowledge, his thoughts, these symbols, and he couldn't experience life. And this is how most people are. They don't experience life, they only experience their thoughts. So they're really not alive. I often find it interesting that there's so much appeal for zombie movies. There's even a TV show, Walking Dead, I think it's called, where it's all about zombies and a zombie apocalypse. It's become very popular. And I think without knowing it, people are reflecting on their own life, that they're living as zombies, that they are the walking dead. But they don't know it, really. It's unconscious. But they're attracted to these movies because it's reflecting the way that they're living. Walking dead. Not a very appealing thought, is it? But if you're not fully aware of life, if you're not fully present to life, to realize with enormous gratitude the fact that you're alive, the overwhelming joy and bliss of simply being alive, you are the walking dead. Because you don't know what it's like to be alive. You knew this when you were 1 year old, 2 years old, maybe by 5 you started forgetting. But in early childhood, you knew what it was like to be alive. No one had to tell you. No one told you. Nobody needs to tell you what it's like to be alive. You either experience it or you don't. But it's only your thoughts that get in the way, because naturally you experience this as a young child without anybody telling you. Before you even learned words, you knew this. It's only as an adult that you've forgotten. That you've become imprisoned by your thoughts, by your concepts and beliefs. So waking up is becoming free of that. Waking up is becoming free and being alive, realizing you're alive and feeling life, feeling what it's like to be alive and to feel life, to feel each breath, fully each breath, the miracle of each breath, the miracle of a body that's filled with energy. It doesn't matter if you feel tired, it's just your thoughts. You know, if you pay attention to your thoughts, you're going to be exhausted, let's face it. We put so much energy into our thinking and our thoughts and so much belief in them, it's exhausting. Once you stop doing that, you're aware of how much energy is in your body. It's enormous. Forget about a nuclear reactor. This body is a nuclear reactor. This thing is like, has unbelievable energy. It's the energy of life. Everything has this energy. And when you pay attention, you can feel this. You can feel the energy of your body. It doesn't have anything to do with health. This body is quite healthy. But even a body when it's sick, I've been sick, I've had the flu, I had cancer years ago. But even during that time, this body is still filled with energy all the time. It would not be alive and able to breathe or think if that weren't so. But most people don't feel it. I call it life force energy, just as a way of giving it a name, because people don't feel it. I even have a video called, I think it's something about light healing or something like that, which is a way that I used to do healing with people, to allow them to feel this energy that's in their body all the time, the energy that's responsible for a living body, you know, this energy that's responsible for a living body. Because if you've ever been with somebody as they die, in the moment that they die, you can see what happens when they don't have this life force energy in the body. It's completely different, and it changes like that, quicker than that. It's just there and then it's not there. They can be in a coma, life force energy, and suddenly no life force energy. And you know they're dead. The body is dead. It cannot function anymore without this life force energy, and the life force energy just dissipates. It's no longer activating the body. So right now, if you're listening to me, you have life force energy. Can you feel this life force energy? And if not, why not? It's there, right? Your heart is beating. You're breathing. You're listening to my words and interpreting them into thoughts. All that stuff's going on. Your immune system is functioning. Cells are being born and dying. It's amazing what goes on in a body. This is an incredible, incredible machine, or whatever we want to call it. It's amazing. There's so much here, and if you pay attention, you will know more than they could ever teach at Harvard Medical School, just by experiencing your body. All you have to do is pay attention and let go of these limiting thoughts, this limited knowledge. And it's very limited. Very limited. And most of it isn't even true. So let go and experience life. Experience the energy of being alive. Why not? What more important do you have to do than this? If you just lost your job and you need to get another job, or you're going to be kicked out of your house and you'll be homeless, yeah, but if you don't know what it's like to be alive, what difference does it make? Then you'll have a job and you'll have a home, and you still won't know what it's like to be alive. You'll still be living in a dream. You'll still be the walking dead. The walking dead with a job and a home. Most of humanity, many of humanity have a home and a job. Walking dead. And they complain about life and the problems that they see, and why they don't have a better job or a better home or a better relationship or a better something else, or they're not a better person or stronger or healthier, smarter, have another degree. This is what our attention goes on. And then we're concerned about what the news tells us, and we're not aware of being alive. We're not aware that in this very moment we're alive. And what does that feel like? What's that experience? It's not something, if you ask your mind, it will come up with all kinds of problems to distract you from the direct experience of being alive, from the joy of being alive. Why? There's no reason. Joy needs no reason. Peace needs no reason. Love needs no reason. It just is. And life just is. And so are you. And what is that isness? What is that being? Thank you, my friend. Happy Thanksgiving to you.